All right, it is launch day again here at Invite Resources, and I'm so excited to be with my friends Rosario Picardo and Callie Picardo on the launch of the kit for healthy money. Guys, welcome and congratulations on launch day.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks
We're
for having
excited.
us.
It's here.
I've got it here in front of me. You got it too, right, Callie? I kind of wanted to get right
Yes.
into it. So, cool packaging. Let's kind of unbox this thing and see what's going on here. We've got all this stuff. So, the kits. Describe the kits. What are we trying to do with the kit for this thing?
Well, it's more than just the book. So I think that's what makes this unique is it's more than just reading material, but this is to really be wrapped around for the entire church to be able to use. So leaders, preachers, those types of things. So one of the things is how do we incorporate this in maybe the worshiping life of our church? And so our own Tesha Mallory, which is a friend of ours, put together some liturgy. Cal, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, Raz and I are not just authors, we're also practitioners. So we want to make things easy to use. And we often hear from churches that, gosh, they get to the finance piece. They want to encourage their congregation in generosity and finances. And they feel like they say the same thing every year. And they want a fresh approach to money. And they want their congregation to be healthy and generous, but sometimes they can't be generous because their finances aren't healthy. So that's why we wrote Healthy Money, but then we wanted to create a way that the churches could go through it. And as we're talking to pastors, and we often have the same thing, they were some of that do more traditional worship. They said, can you write some prayers? Like our church always wants a prayer when we take up the offering and a call to worship, and maybe a prayer for a pledge commitment card coming in as well for the churches that do that. And so we reached out to our friend Tesha Mallory, who is so gifted at writing liturgy, but from a fresh perspective. I don't know, sometimes liturgy feels formal and stale. This is fresh liturgy for the church today. In fact, we have contemporary worship services at our church Mosaic as well, and we'll probably use some of these liturgies also in our contemporary service because they're really fresh and relate to what we're doing with the book. So we wanted to make it easy so that pastors could just take this and run with it and use the parts that fit their church.
Yeah, we've gotten this idea of kits here at Invite, and it's so exciting because you can take any book like Healthy Money and say, what would it look like if we were to extend the themes of the book into a local church? So a congregation is entirely immersed in the themes of the book, from the sermon series to groups to the communications and all the things, and that's what we try to do with it. So like when you buy this, and we're talking to pastors here, church leaders. When you buy it, you get this cool packaging. I just got to highlight it's really cool. So then you get it and you open it up and you got this little packaging here. So it starts out with this box contains, and I've got all this kind of cool stuff in here. So we talk about the book itself, a copy of Healthy Money, their paperback, also the EPUB edition, which is good for Apple Books or Nook or any kind of reader like that. And then the assessment's the third thing on the list. Let's talk about the assessment a little bit. This is a kind of a key, unique part of the kit. And what are you trying to accomplish with the assessment?
So there are 5 different financial mindsets that we came up as part of the kit. I mean, part of being healthy, when you think about going to the doctor's office, they want to know about your family background, but they also want to know, like, how are you made up? And so as you're looking if are your finances healthy, it gets into how were you nurtured, how are you raised in this area, but also just how are you wired? What is your approach to this? And so we came up with 5 different financial mindsets, and then there's an assessment that goes with it. So you can read about them and learn, but you can also just take this online assessment. A whole church can take it. We've had some fun seeing small groups take it and talk about it with each other. We've seen some married couples using it as a fun way to talk about finances and really having some of those aha moments where they realize, that's why you do what you do with with the finances. And it's just been an easy way for people to come together around that. And then, I'm curious to see some churches that have their leadership team or finance team take it. If you have a finance team full of folks with a security mindset, they're going to be really good at making sure you're making wise financial decisions with your resources. So there's a good side and a challenging side to each, but they also might not want to take a lot of risk when it comes to money. And so as pastors and their teams and their churches go through it, they can learn more about one another, but also hopefully each individual is learning more about themselves and able to grow from there.
we have a graphic, I think, with the QR code. So the assessment is actually online. Here it is.
Yeah.
So discover your financial mindset. Most of us know this is the core of the book. I really want to emphasize this. So most of us know the right things to do with our finances. You know, we've heard the Ramsey, we've heard all the tactics, and whether it's, you know, budgeting or envelopes, whatever, but there's still like this gap between our knowledge and our actions. You know, we still binge buy on Amazon at 11 p.m. at night. So why do we do this? And that's what y'all are trying to address. And you've got this free assessment tool. Anybody can take it. You can go on, follow the QR code, go on the site and take the assessment tool right now to find out which of the money mindsets you are. So Roz, give us an example of one of the money mindsets and what this might tell somebody.
Yeah, and I want to just preface this by saying one mindset's not better than the other.
Okay. Yes.
You may have a benevolence mindset where you want to give, and generosity is part of your DNA. And maybe as a follower of Christ, it becomes even more, you know, exemplified in your daily living and how you practice it, whether it's buying meals for people, helping folks in need, giving to charities, nonprofits, your local church, all those things. But then there's a shadow side to each and every one. And you could create, maybe in times of stress, you go into a savior or messiah complex. So I have to bail all of these different people out of the situations that they put themselves in. And so you can develop codependency instantly. You could also not only develop codependency, but it changes relationships if you even then begin to lend money out. And so you are not the answer to everybody's prayers when there's a need or when something arises. So but when we're, you know, in times of stress or unhealth, we go to the shadow side. So no matter any mindset, that shadow side exists. And I love this, you know, mindset exercise, because you can ask people right in the pews or in the chairs, hey, take out your smartphone. And we're just going to do this right here, you know, or on a Wednesday night, whenever you have folks that are gathered. But even to our listeners now, you might want to just take it and just see, because it does a great printout, PDF printout, and really details some of the characteristics of that mindset.
I love the mindset idea. It's super interactive. It's a way for a congregation, everybody in the congregation, to get hands-on, get involved right away. They can think about themselves. They can think about their church, right? Churches have mindsets as well. So a real great opportunity. So we're kind of going through this list of what's included in the kit. So we've got the core book, the assessment, a downloadable pledge card template. So the whole idea here, right, is this is like a generosity campaign or a stewardship campaign at a local church. And so, you know, at the time of year when a church leader needs to talk about tithing, talk about giving, but this is a different and more creative, innovative approach to this annual conversation than maybe most pastors have had the chance to engage with before.
It could also be used with a capital campaign as a lead up to a capital campaign where you're really trying to get people to a healthy spot where they can give. It can be used in the fall when a lot of churches do stewardship and generosity, but it can be used any time of the year, anytime you feel like your congregation's ready to go a little deeper in this topic.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love that.
So when you open it up, then there's, you know, you have the liturgy, worship resources, and then you have the sermon.
Let Len hold that up.
Oh, sorry.
Let him hold it up. So we want to see it. We want to see that.
So this little book comes with it. So the blue one is the core book, and then this one is the preaching and worship guide. So notes to leadership in here. You mentioned Tesha at the top of the broadcast and what she's done here in terms of our friend Tesha in terms of writing liturgies for worship to go with it. And also there's some other notes in here for possible sermon ideas, how to adapt the mindsets into weekly sermons. So just basically everything you would need in order to be able to create an entire all church campaign around this. Is that right?
It is. And there are 5 weeks to it, but we've also provided some suggestions for if you wanted to do a 3-week series or a 4-week. Here are kind of the suggested weeks and sermons that you would hit. And it's got some example illustrations, but you can also fill it in with your own. So it is really made and designed to be flexible. And if you do it as a church-wide thing, it can also be a study. So most people go through the study in 30 days or 5 weeks if they're meeting on the in between each weekday. And so the church can be going through it in detail, but also be hearing it on Sunday mornings. You can preach, you can teach, you can celebrate it, as I've heard some say, where it's really wraparounds where people are really getting it in depth. It's not just something they hear, but it's something they put into practice.
We also have this little journal that goes with it. So this is just another interactive piece for the congregation to have a chance to kind of walk through on a daily basis, during the piece of this. So we're going through some more of this list here. So monthly budget sheet. So that's a digital component. So when you buy the thing, there's a link to several digital components. One of those is a budget tracker, some digital assets for communications, for social, for internal marketing to your church. And then bookmark, bulk discounts, of course. So everything we try to get as comprehensive as we can be. And Roz, you're a full-time local church pastor, so you think this way.
Yes.
So we've kind of built this to be everything and all in one kit, right? For a church.
Yeah, because during this time, pastors end up stressing out, and it's hard to think of how do we preach and share something fresh when it's something that times we dread even talking about, or even the congregation dreads hearing about. But I think this is a really healthy approach to money.
Unintended.
And Callie, talk about how this connects with your full-time work as well.
So I'm vice president for development at United Theological Seminary. I've been in this ministry of fundraising, 16 years now. And it is my passion to see people excited about giving, people in a healthy spot financially so they can, but also churches and nonprofits able to encourage generosity from a space of comfort and excitement, where this is not something to dread. It's something that can really be powerful, where you're not just saying, oh, I need this because you need to pay my salary. And do I even ask? But no, I want something for you, congregation. I want you to be healthy with your finances and grow in your relationship with the Lord. And for those of you that are like, do we talk about money? Is that a spiritual piece? Honestly, it is. I mean, Jesus talked about it all the time, and it's throughout the Old and New Testament. But one of the things that is my prayer with this book is that people might pick it up for the money piece, but because they're doing some under the surface level work with God and with the Holy Spirit, I'm praying that they're transformed in such a way that it impacts even more than just their finances, that it impacts them relationally, mentally, emotionally, that they're just changed and going deeper in their faith as they go through this journey that might start financially, but it is really tied to so much more than that.
Yeah, but my next question, you've already kind of answered.
Oh, no, I hopped ahead, Lynn.
Good. I love it. We're great minds, right? So Roz, in terms of dreams and prayers, Callie's just been talking about that. What, from your perspective, what are some dreams and prayers you'd have for the use of the kit?
Yeah, I think something similar. We desire for people to be set free. And it's not the fact that people don't want to give. It's just they don't know how. Because they are strapped financially. Well, the spending habits or the tightness, of the scarcity mindset all comes, that those are just symptoms of a bigger heart issue. And so imagine if churches would be loosed in generosity, what communities could experience in cities and states in our country if the Jesus followers that we know and that God is calling us to be can give at a capacity that really can lift the local church, but ultimately lift the name of Jesus. That's our hope and prayer.
Yeah.
That is great. I love it. So some early returns. You've already we got a few sales already on this. This is not like a book where you have lots of sales to individuals, but this is an entire church commitment. So kind of a different perspective, but we're already getting some good early returns on things, aren't we?
Yeah. And excited to see as those churches start using it, how it's going to impact their congregations as well, and to get some of those stories back. That's what I'm really excited for, is to start to hear the stories of lives changed.
Yeah, I love it. So this is exclusive to inviteresources.com. We sell the kits only on our website. You can go to inviteresources.com to the landing page we have here. You can also, just buy it through the store as well. And then if you're buying it through us, and then you also want to buy copies of the core book to hand out in bulk, then those discounts are available there to do that according to a chart. So the more you get, the steeper that discount is. So closing thoughts or comments about the kit as we launch it here today.
I'm just praying God will use it in a mighty way. And that people will truly be transformed and set free, and just can't wait. So if you end up buying the kit and using it, we do want to hear from you. Like we're not distant, far off people. We really want to hear how it's working. And if you have resources that you're thinking, gosh, I wish there was such and such, let us know, because we might be able to add that to future kits. So we're testing out this throughout our church this fall. This is going to be our fall stewardship series, and so we're going to be doing it, and so we'll have some stories to share with you all as well.
Yeah, I would just echo that. Send us any ideas you have. Hey, it'd be great if Healthy Money did this, or Invite did something else. That's how we improve what we do, is getting feedback. But again, if you have transformation stories or people that have really been impacted, we want to hear about it and lift those up.
Well, guys, it's always a blessing to hang out with you, and I'm so excited to partner on this. I think there's great potential with the Healthy Money Kit, and just again, congratulations on the launch.
Thanks, Lynn. We're thankful for you and for the ministry of Invite Resources.
Absolutely.
All right, Healthy Money Kit at inviteresources.com. Go check it out.